Hello,
Whoa.
Matthew.
Hey, what's up, Zach?
It's the Pedal Pushers podcast.
We be pushing pedals.
That's it. That's what we do.
That's the whole point. This is a commercial to buy Mythos products. Please buy our stuff, feed our families.
MythosPedals.com or hit up a dealer.
Our dealers are great. They've got everything in stock. They've got exclusives. Let's go.
So,
all right.
how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I've had 4 cups of coffee already this morning.
And you haven't even cracked your LaCroix.
I haven't cracked my LaCroix.
I cracked my...
You got a Mountain Dew over there.
I got Mountain Dew Voodoo. Because for my birthday,
Let's
Jeff
go.
got me this mystery
I'm
flavor.
gonna go right now. Oh. The LaCroix don't fizz that hard.
But they taste the best.
Disagree.
Anyway.
Don't believe the hype, baby, on the LaCroix. All right. This episode is all
I didn't talk about what I've done.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm just ready to talk. I really want to...
I went to Mass Street Music.
Oh, you did, right.
And hung out.
That was last week?
Yes.
Wow.
And hung out with Dan Brown.
Yeah.
And some of the JHS folks.
Yeah.
And all the Mass Street folks.
Yeah. Love
and
that store.
It was great. It was really fun. The worst part,
Oh.
the single worst part about going to Mass Street
10
Music,
hours of driving by yourself?
well, yeah, the 9-ish hours in the car
Yeah.
is not fun. But they have so much good stuff.
Oh, yeah. You came home with some shit.
I brought home some pedals.
Yeah,
but
you did.
They also have they have Collings guitars, and Brian, who is the sales manager, he just gets the best stuff.
Yeah.
And they just have so many good guitars. It's really hard
I'm
I go there.
I'm proud of you that you didn't come home with anything.
There was one guitar I specifically did not play because I knew I would
we
buy
just
it.
did a whole episode about you selling stuff and feeling great about it, and I figured you'd come home with a truck full of shit.
I got 2 pedals, and that's all.
Very good.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway,
Okay.
what's on the docket?
Well, I want to talk about hype.
Ah,
I want to talk about hype, and in the gear community,
hyperbole.
Hyperbole. In the gear community, we see it all the time. You hear the phrase, "Is it worth the hype?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was checking out some new gear yesterday. Lots of great stuff got released this week.
Deluge of
Maybe
new
it's
gear.
great stuff. I haven't played it. Whoa, that's the whole point of this show. It's stuff from Universal Audio, stuff from Beatronics,
Line
stuff
6.
from Line 6, all kinds of great stuff. Maybe. Great stuff is in, it looks cool, whatever.
Right.
But what I want to talk about was, instantly people say, is it worth the hype? It's worth the hype.
Mhm.
And I kind of wanted to break down, what are we actually talking about when we say hype?
Yes.
What does it mean if something actually lives up to the hype? And, sort of just dive into those murky waters, because I
Right.
think there's some misconstruing going on with marketing, buzz, and then, does things, do things have legs when they've actually been out there for a while?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the legs thing is something that's so interesting.
Yes.
And the thing that I think over the course of the past, and this is prior to COVID and lockdown, I think, the hype train and the way the community will latch on to equipment and kind of, it will be omnipresent. And then like that, it's
gone.
Where are
And
all those pedals
it's something that we talk about, when we bring up, conversations about our stuff.
Sure.
We always want it to have legs or a long tail, as you say.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an interesting to try to manage that with the hype that happens when something comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a million videos about it, and everyone's like, oh, wow, check this out. This is new. This is the thing. And then, like you said, it's gone. How does that happen? How do we manage that? What's the right strategy? And then what ends up sticking?
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
So I think the first thing we want to talk about what gear has lived up to or exceeded the hype.
Okay.
Let's just dive into that. So there's everything is hyped, I think. If from a modern day perspective.
Yes.
If you're a company that has money, and I'm not talking about you're
So not
succeeding,
us.
but big money. You have a
money.
marketing team.
Yes.
Someone has an office with a plaque on the
That says
above
marketing person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just throughout the annals of guitar history, what has lived up to the hype? And I think the first thing that we thought of that has and does
Yes.
The Klon Centaur.
The Klon Centaur. And the reason why I think we both brought that up first is it was, unlike sort of the way that gear gets rolled out now, it's a slow burn. It's something that people had to discover.
Yeah. And I think that's what truly gives something
Hype.
real hype.
Yes.
Because hype in a marketing sense is one thing,
Yeah.
but hype in a community sense, that's something else
And
entirely.
I think that's when something is truly living up to the hype, because the actual definition of hype is marketing. It's about pushing it out there and saying this is the new greatest thing. I mean, when we do a new overdrive, it's going to be the greatest overdrive that you've ever heard. It's the greatest chorus that you've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we want you to buy our stuff, and then we're going to hype it up. But when something lives up to the hype is when, after all that dies down, does it have legs? Does it stick around?
Yeah.
So it's easy to sort of say that a product lives up to the hype when it didn't get all that at the beginning, and then it just sort of happens to, sort of sprout the legs that we've been talking about. And
Sure.
the Klon did. So when did that actually start to happen, Zach? Because
man.
you are the Klon historian.
Oh, no, I'm not.
You're Mr. Klon over here.
No, because I have a Klon doesn't mean I know it all.
MrKlon.com over here.
That's not bad. MrKlon.com.
Mr. Klon. But it happened, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it didn't really. I don't think that the Klon truly picked up. I mean, it was always something that, if you were aware of it,
Yes.
like, ooh, it's this seemingly impossible to get legendary thing. Because when it first came into my radar, that was probably like 2000, probably after they had stopped being made. So 2008 or so, 2009. But I don't think it was really until YouTube really started to take off, and then things like Instagram and other social media platforms that allowed people to showcase their pedal boards and get excitement about something, and almost an envious sort of thing.
Oh, you have one?
Yeah. Oh my God, got a Klon. Like it was such a big deal for to see one on a board, like a real one. I mean, and that was back before there weren't a fake one. But I think, honestly, one of the things that helped launch the Klon into the $4,000+ price tag that it's got now, and the stratosphere it's at now, was really, I think it might have been when Cherryatone made their Centura, because I think that kind of cemented it into the community as this unobtainable thing. Because look, now you can finally get one, quote unquote.
Yes.
That doesn't cost. Back then, it was like $1,000.
Yeah.
Or so, and it's just gone to the moon.
Cuckoo bananas. That's the technical term.
BANANAS.
But and to that point, I think even after that one is the enduring popularity of clones and obviously we make a lot of different versions of what we consider our Klon circuit, and it's our most popular stuff. And that is when something if it was just hype around like being cool enough to have one, then I don't think that the enduring popularity of the circuit and the way it sounded would nearly be as prevalent as it is, and that shows that the thing actually is good. Yeah,
oh yeah, and
that it's worthy of the hype.
And that you see so many players using the real thing and copies thereof, which copies and clones definitely perpetuate the mythical status of this equipment. Because on the rest of our what actually lives up to the hype list, I said Dumbles, because despite them all being super individualistic, they still are remarkable. They really are. Same with vintage Gibsons and Fenders. They live up to the hype. They're not all good, but no modern guitars are all good either. But when you find an old one that really speaks to you or has that thing, you can't even begin to understand what makes it so good, and then you understand. Like, I understand why people will spend $10,000, $40,000, $100,000,
Yeah.
$1 million on a guitar or whatever. So I think those things are definitely worthy
Yeah,
of
and I
the
think when
hype.
people talk about hype in that way, we are talking about it specifically whether or not it sounds good or not.
Yeah.
Because, it could be collectible. That's totally fine. There's lots of things that are collectible, but to spend that kind of money and actually use it.
Yeah.
I saw Jason Isbell this past Sunday, and he was playing a Dumble.
And he's got bursts.
And he's
And
got
a clon.
burst and a clon. I heard
Damn.
all three, and it sounded great. And
What an asshole.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
You sell out 8 nights at the Ryman, you can have nice gear.
Hell yeah, man.
Yes, you can.
You know what
And
he doesn't have, though?
What?
Mythos pedals.
Jason?
Come
You
on,
know.
brother.
You're down the street.
You park your bus over here, dog.
We know
Come
where
on.
your bus is parked. We were watching.
Just
That
knock it.
sounded on.
Boom, boom, boom.
But so
Open up.
I think that the fact that a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about, a 59 Les Paul, Dumbles, Clons, just the
Wait,
the,
just excuse me for a second.
Okay, the holy grail of gear. What the initial hype is all marketing, but then eventually things will. So what is something a little bit more recent that you think has had some legs, where it's like
That's truly lived up to the
there's
hype.
a hype when it comes out, and then it's like, hey, this thing actually turned out to be good, and people are continuing to buy it, and it's doing well. How about the neural stuff?
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of the first thing I thought of. That was hyped like crazy. People were going nuts over it, and I think it's being adopted and used quite a bit. I think that has lived up to the hype.
And it's shown that it has staying power, which is the
Yes.
hardest part of any product.
Yeah.
But yeah, the neural stuff, I think the Boss, the Space Echo,
Yeah.
everyone saw that and thought, because it has an aesthetically pleasing look, and
It's
people
beautiful.
got really excited about it.
Yes,
But also,
yes.
it sounds really good. I can't remember how to use it. Every time I plug it up, I have to pull up the PDF. Okay, if you hold this, then you can change the reverb.
Yeah.
But other things that have lived up to the hype, I think the HX Stomp and the Helix style effects have lived up to the hype.
The Silver Sky.
The Silver Sky has exceeded
I mean, that's
all
we're
expectations.
on 5-6 years in on that guitar.
It's
it's
when did it come out? 2017,
17?
I believe 2017.
So that's that to me, is once it kind of has become normalized and it continues to sell and people get it. I mean, that's living up to
That's when the hype is real.
that hype is real.
When it has proven itself to the market and the community.
Well, I think
it's not
you
going
said
anywhere.
that. I think that's the most important part of this is that it has to be community driven.
Yes.
Because everything else is just marketing. And that's the way it should be, right? You put out a product and you're going to spam, YouTubers, and you're going to have newsletters and all the dealers, and everybody's going to talk about it. And then, it needs to just sort of exist out in the world, and we'll see if people are still buying it and people are still interested. How many are on Reverb? Like,
man.
it's like, I'm super old fuck, right?
Yeah.
Just as crusty as can be, right? And one of the things that you used to do is you used to go to something called a record store. They sold like music, and you'd buy it and you'd be able to hold it in your hands.
What?
I know.
How did you play it?
CDs, man. CD players. But one thing that you would notice is that you would go and you would see the used section, and you would see like 15 copies of Jagged Little Pill.
Oh, yeah.
By Alanis Morissette. And I don't call Alanis out. That's a good record. But
Great record.
It's a great record. But it's the first one that popped into my head because it sold so many copies. But you could tell the stuff that people bought, and then they're like, yeah, okay. And it's that's an easy, we sell when you go on to a Reverb and you see a lot of used gear. There's a lot of stuff that people need to sell in order to buy new things.
Sure.
But then that's people could be offloading the stuff, and you could see prices go down and prices go up and all that. And it's there's a way to sort of measure the hype there as well.
100%. I think that's something that so few people think about.
Yeah. Did I make a point there?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I got it.
The lack of used gear in the community, I think, speaks to the hype, and it further. I mean, of course, it drives command. Command. Demand.
Drives command.
Drives command.
That sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds like a really crappy 1980s cartoon or something. Drive command. They're just
I would watch that.
dudes in a truck.
Do they transform into something?
No, they're just driving. They're just hauling loads.
No, not gonna say nothing.
What?
You said hauling loads, man.
That's what a truck driver does.
I know, but
he hauls a load.
It sounded funny.
And he delivers loads.
The word load is
when
always
he gets
funny.
to his destination.
It's always funny.
He dumps his load when he gets to the
always
destination.
funny. There's certain words that are always funny to me.
Load is one of them?
Yeah. One of my favorite records, too.
What about dump?
Always funny.
What about thump?
Well, when you say it like that.
That's not a word.
It's not a word.
Sorry.
Icky frump. Let's go.
Icky frump?
Yeah.
What? It's icky thump.
I know. I was just doing a bit. We're doing a bit.
Okay.
It's a fun, lively podcast. Please buy our pedals.
I've had a lot of Mountain Dew already.
Yes.
Anyway.
Okay. What were you talking about? Oh, we're talking about like
the
used gear on Reverb.
Yeah, and that is definitely something that I think speaks to how, because I think a lot of people, like look, PRS, for example.
Great.
We talk about PRS a lot because
Yes.
we love PRS.
We're definitely PRS homers.
You don't see the majority of guitars you see floating around on Reverb and in the used space typically are the really high dollar, really fancy, I would argue more of the collector space guitars than you do the core bog standard guitars. You like try to find a non-tin top, just normal sunburst, any PRS, DGT, custom,
hard to find.
594. You don't find them. You know why? Because people keep them.
Well, the best example that I can think of is that I don't know how many they made, but they had to make more than like 3.
Yeah.
The 2012 DGT standard.
Right.
Never, ever, ever find one for sale.
All mahogany.
All mahogany, and I'd really like one.
Yeah.
I really do. I really
hit them
want
up
one.
if you got one.
I really would like one. I should have bought one back in the day.
When they were like $1,200.
They were like $21.99 or something, and
Yeah.
they were always. I played the GC Platinum Room in Seattle, and they had them there, and they got a decent amount in. But I know they had to make a couple hundred of those, and I never see them.
Oh, I bet they made more than that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know their numbers.
Right? I bet they make a lot of guitars.
But that, you know, and so it's not scientific, but you can look on Reverb and you can see the price fluctuations, and there's hype, right? You know, so there's some stuff will come out like, oh, everybody's going to go buy the PV Decade, and you know, and then the prices go way up, and then it goes way down because people are like, oh no, this sucks, and you know that happens.
Yeah,
there's hype, and then it goes away, and it goes up, and it goes away, and you know, what's a good example of that you think with Mythos?
Oh.
Stuff that was hot and, you know, stuff that's had some staying power. And, you know, what have you seen in your own company, Zach?
Man, what a big question. I feel like a lot of
I've got a good example here if you don't have one off.
A lot of things got hyped after I discontinued them.
That happens a lot.
Which happens all the time.
Do you think that's genuine, or is it just because if you can't get it, it's like people just assign a mythical status, pun intended?
No, I think for me, some of the stuff that hit harder after it was gone, I was a bit ahead of the curve.
Okay.
Like I did the Earl King, which is my Noble's ODR1. I was like, this is a cool circuit, fun. I'm gonna make one. Never really had legs, and then after that, that's when you started seeing the brown protein and all some more people building up that circuit.
Yeah.
And then people were like, will you make one? I said, I already moved on to the Herculean. I feel like the Wildwood Mjolnir had, especially during COVID, the hype on that was so huge.
Yeah.
And that was thanks due in part to guys on YouTube and whatnot, really just talking about it. And it was, I mean, I couldn't keep up with demand. And now it's normalized. And you see that a lot. I think one of the ways I understand within our product lineup how well something is, or how hype something is, or how desired it is by how much people price it used.
No, that's true. Yeah.
And now the Wildwoods have come down to like a normal used price.
And we've been able to. I know that the back order was gnarly on those for a long time.
Yeah.
And that was a long time of that where you were just making them by yourself.
Yeah.
And
100%.
then we got a crew, and we're able to. I mean, they still sell very briskly, and we're really happy about that.
Yeah.
That's how I know that the hype was real on that, because it still, you know, continues to sell at a pace that works really well.
Yeah, but I mean, the 1347 was real hot for a minute, and it fell off. Mass Street Music still has some of those, and I'm really proud of that fuzz. I think it
It's a
sounds
beautiful pedal too.
awesome, and you should, if you're interested in a fuzz face circuit from us, it's the one. I mean, it's the only one we make.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, I mean, they all have their moment. The Sus Mariosep did really well in the beginning, and it's, kind of faded a little bit.
And that's hard to know. I mean, everything that you do is exciting. And
it's all a risk.
And it's all a risk because you don't. And the Festus is kind of my favorite example of one where, it was a weird circuit, a weird idea. Wasn't sure how much people were going to be able to get it if they didn't play it.
Yeah.
And that's harder nowadays. And you need to get people playing stuff, and sometimes you're going to base everything on on videos and hype. Okay, Zach. We kind of touched on it a little bit at the beginning, but what I really want to talk about and what spurred on this conversation is the new gear hype cycle. And part of the reason I want to talk about that is I feel like a lot of times there's a sort of a negative connotation with it.
Yeah.
Instantly, people sort of get a little bit chuffed about the hype cycle.
They're a
They're a little chuffed. Right? There's a little backlash. I see videos immediately about, like, is it worth the hype? And we were like, oh, it's probably not that good. Like, where does that come from? Is it a problem with the way that we roll out gear in a modern way that can turn people off instantly? Or is it just the nature of the nastiness of the comments?
I think it's that.
Okay. Well, I gotta.
I mean,
but how do you feel about that? Because we've talked about that endlessly about how we want to roll products out, and we don't want that to happen.
Yeah,
we want to kill the hype immediately by having too much shit out there. I'll stop talking. I promise.
I don't know. It's interesting. Like I think a lot of it is just armchair quarterbacking. Just people just like wanting to say there's no way you can live up to the hype, or they just bitch and moan before they've ever touched it.
Yeah. Gotta play it.
You have to play it.
Gotta play it.
But I do think there is a fatigue that happens from marketing of products, and I mean Universal Audio, for example.
Bam.
They just released. I thought they were releasing one pedal, and you said no. They're
Homie,
releasing
there's 3 more there, baby.
4, and I was completely shocked because it just came out of nowhere. I knew the Lion was coming.
Okay.
I had seen that at some friends' houses, some YouTubers' houses, and they said, "Have you seen this?" I'm like, "I'm not privy to this information. I only find out when you guys tell me."
Yeah.
But like that felt like a welcome addition to their lineup.
Yeah, absolutely.
But everything else, it just seems like, it's just adding to a pile. And it's not that I'm not saying that I don't know how those other circuits sound. I haven't heard them yet. No. I've only heard the Lion, which I've not even heard that much of. But I think people get just so run down by the sheer amount of gear, because if you're plugged in, then you're so plugged in that you see everything, and we are. And this is
the show here is for people that are plugged in.
Yes.
And the way I always like to describe it, and I apologize if I've done this on the show already, but the gear world is ironic punishment hell. It truly is, right? There's an episode of The Simpsons where it's one of the Treehouse of Horrors.
Is that the yellow one?
The yellow people? Yes, The Simpsons. And there's an episode where Homer goes to hell, and he goes to the ironic punishment station, and they're just
what circle level is that?
I don't remember, but he's just getting
Dante.
He's getting fed donuts constantly, and
right.
he loves every second of it. And
right.
They can't actually make him suffer,
right.
Even though normal circumstances you go crazy by getting the thing that you love constantly all day. Not Homer Simpson.
Sure.
But I think for all of us, we love gear. We live gear. We talk about gear all the time, but then we have no breaks. Because from your social media feed to your email feed, YouTube, all that stuff, this is like
your SMS.
You're just getting it all day, everywhere. You're just getting all the gear information everywhere, and we're part of the problem because we're beaming right into your ear holes right now, or your eye holes.
We're having a conversation.
This is fun. This is fun, right?
I hope so.
I hope so. But my point is that there's got to be some fatigue there. If this is 1994, The only time that you're getting any gear news is when Guitar World shows up.
Right.
That's it, all day. And it's exciting. And now it's literally you can just be on it all day.
Mm-hmm. And people are.
I do it. I'm on Reverb all day, looking at gear all day. We're sending. No, I'm
That's
working.
what he's doing.
It's
over
work.
there.
It's work. I think it's work, right? If I'm on Reverb and I work for a good.
It depends on what you're looking at, right?
I'm looking at 59 reissues.
No,
that's work.
I disagree. It's work when I do it.
Okay. But but there's got to be like, so then when a new product releases and you see it in all of those spaces immediately,
yeah,
there's going to be hype fatigue right away. There has to be
hyper fatigue.
So how do we fix that? Is there any other way to do it, or are we stuck in this model? Because if you don't, then you're going to see all this other stuff, forget about the new pedal, and never buy it.
I don't know.
We got to solve this problem, Zach, now.
I think
solve this problem right now.
So one thing I did.
What?
And this is sorry to everyone on Instagram if they follow Mythos, and I did this to you. If you have there's a lot of like pedal board sharing accounts, or used to be.
Yes.
I unfollowed a lot of those. Oh well, I muted them.
Yeah.
Like I'm still following them, but I muted them, so I'm not.
Yeah.
Getting just bombarded with that stuff. And honestly,
did it make your life better?
Yeah, and I think the algorithm for me is mostly Ghostbusters and occasionally some of the brands I really like. Mm-hmm. I'll follow that, and then guitar players themselves.
Yes.
But if you're a person that's not on this side of the camera and you're just observing all those things, if there's stuff that you're not really interested in, just unfollow it. And I think it's okay. I think that's the thing. We need to be able to say to each other, it's okay to not know everything and to not care about everything, because that's one of the things that I get hit on AMA Fridays. Like, have you seen this? Have you seen that? It's like, I've seen it, but I don't like. It's okay for me not to care. It's okay for you to not care about all the universal audio pedals or that new HX1 pedal. Like, I think that's cool. I think the Line 6 pedal that's a great idea, and it's small. I think they're going to sell buckets of those things.
Buckets.
But
so what we're really talking about is mental health for us gear folks.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
I think that's what you're talking about.
And mental health is nice.
And I as a consumer
Are you a consumer or a prosumer?
I'm pro. I'm a prosumer.
That's what's up.
But I've had those moments too where I'm like, man, I follow too many things, and you just get tired of it, because you want to be excited when you're ready to play guitar, and if you're sick of all of that stuff by the time you get to it, then that's not good. Right?
Yeah,
that's not good. And I don't know if it's
let's do a live experiment and see what shows up.
Oh my god!
I'm just gonna go.
You just wanted to look at your phone while we're recording.
No. Okay.
What is this?
I'll probably unfollow this.
Oh my gosh.
Studio equipment.
Okay,
cool. Dylan Adams.
Dylan Adams rules.
Rocking some guitar.
Yeah. Should have been in the top 250. Rolling Stone. Where's my Dylan Adams? Nobody's paying attention over there at Rolling Stone.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
People swinging pots in a store. T-shirt ad. Mythos
our
pedals.
own. Yeah.
Some hairy cows, which are really cute.
Love hairy cows.
Temu. I get a lot of ads by Temu.
Who's that?
I think it's like a Wish.com thing.
Okay. Gear.
Guitar player. Donkey at a window.
That could mean anything.
I mean, it was literally a donkey sticking his nose in a window.
That could be a euphemism. You
Brothers
never know.
Landreth. So like guitar, like Third Power Amps mostly shows guitar player stuff.
Yeah.
Memes, Russo's.
That's one of our dealers.
Yeah. So I'm not like art. I do follow like some interesting artists, like just literally.
So.
There's like Adam's Family.
Dude, cover my face so you can show it off.
Neat. People making cheeseburgers. I don't know, like these are the things that I follow. But I think doing that has definitely helped me kind of rein back, just because you can only care about so much.
It's hard.
You can only care. You don't have to care, and that doesn't mean something doesn't live up to hype, or that you're not you're lesser for it.
Yeah.
You just
It's just the amount of information is too much. You shouldn't eat that many donuts all day. Gear donuts. There's just gear donuts all day.
Gear donuts.
But it's like you can't.
I think it's okay for anyone to say, who gives a shit? I think it's okay.
I think you have to survive.
Yeah.
Because it's too much. It's like, it's like we're all going to burn out. And it's not as exciting if you're just bombarded with this stuff all day. It's like, it's like it can't be good.
Right. In having the conversation building up to this podcast,
we realized what the actual point of this was. It took us a little while to get there.
We did?
Yeah.
Oh, what is it?
It said you should unfollow everyone on Instagram.
Oh, or that, yeah. But I think we need to redefine what it means to hype something up.
Okay, yes, that's actually the point. Yes.
So I think the most important thing we can do is stop thinking of these things as hype from a community standpoint, because that's, for the majority, not what this is. We are succumb to marketing and paid advertisements and those sort of things. Articles, it's all some form of marketing, and that's okay. Like that has to exist.
That's how we do it nowadays
on planet Earth.
Yeah.
But the community needs to kind of take a step back and realize that when things are good or not, it's not hype, it's buzz.
Yeah.
And let's redefine it as, is the buzz worth it? That's not as interesting
Is the
or fun.
Buzz? Don't believe the buzz.
Don't believe the buzz. You buzzing right now?
I'm buzzing right now.
Getting buzzing, bro.
Yeah, for that mystery do. No, but I think that's your point. Like what you want is somebody to say, have you played that yet? I tried it. It was really good. Like, that's what you want.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the kind of conversations that we want. And
you can't live up to the hype if you haven't tried it.
That's it. And maybe take a step back and, not follow everything all the time.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. I mean, I successfully killed my Facebook. I successfully killed my Twitter/X. And I've considered killing my Instagram too.
No, I can't do that.
You know what? I mean,
too many memes.
You can't.
Who would I send my stuff to?
I
sent news anchors.
You did.
Bloopers.
It was very funny.
It was worth it.
But I mean, I get kind of tired of it.
Like, no, I agree.
And I love seeing everybody's stuff, and I love seeing cool demos, and I love all that stuff. But I don't post a ton on Instagram, and normally it's my kids. Because and because I've got some followers that are friends and family and stuff, and I like to show them off. But I get a little bit tired of it, and I'm part of it is that I look at the work accounts too, and I've got a Pedal Pushers one, and I post for the Mythos one. And you just I don't know, man. I get all the newsletters from all the stores, and it can be a lot.
Yeah,
it can be a lot, and we really do try to rein it back a little bit for our stuff.
Yeah,
like we don't send our stuff out to every single YouTuber out there. There's some ones we want to have demos out there because you can't. Day one, not have demo videos of stuff, but we try to keep it a little bit tighter so you're not like, man, fuck this shit by the end of the first day.
Yeah, there's something about seeing all that stuff that just really, I personally am exhausted when there's launch day things. Sometimes I'm curious, but if it's like the Tonemaster,
Holy crap.
I just was like, I don't know. And I finally got to play one, so.
And?
It of all of the modelers that I've played, and
it was one of them.
It was one of them. Yeah, it was definitely one of the modelers.
I honestly think that's my favorite burn that you could say about something.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, we say that when we watch a movie. Like, well, that was a movie.
It existed,
but it was okay. Nothing in it. From a usability standpoint or sonically, made me want to get rid of my HX Stomp.
Yeah.
Or would dissuade me from trying to buy a Neural.
Yeah.
I'm going to get Jeff's when he decides that he doesn't want his anymore.
Jeff bought it knowing he would sell it to you.
I'm sure he did.
He said that the first day. He did.
Well, I think that guitar back there between us, plus the Neural, is just going to be Shred City, man.
Can you see it? Oh, sorry. That's the K.
KH602. And Chippy's here.
Chippy Sinclair. I posted a picture of me playing that guitar.
You holding Chippy?
It got hype yesterday. No, but let's talk about the Tonemaster for just a second. So if someone said to you, did it live up to the hype? You would say,
What hype?
thank you. And that's the entire point of this episode. The hype was just people trying to sell it to you. So there was no hype, because it's not like you heard from a bunch of people that said this was really good, that was community driven, independent, people that had tried it, because it hadn't been out long enough for that to happen.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're trying to talk about here.
Yeah.
And if it actually is good, and maybe you're wrong, or whatever, then it'll have legs and it'll be good. And I'm happy for the people that do get it and really like it.
That's fine. Sure. But I don't know.
It really didn't like it, huh?
I mean, you know what it reminded me of?
What?
It reminded me of now it was better than this, but the Fender Mustangs amps.
Okay.
They're modeling amps. Like Fender modeling has always had a sound. It's interesting. It's kind of hard to put into words what it sounds like, but it has a sound in comparison to Line 6 modeling or anyone else. And it kind of had that just kind of really like big low end. The gain had it was like either really gainy or almost sterile. I don't know. I played it with some headphones and a really nice guitar, and just immediately thought, not for me. Not for that price. If it was half the price, I'd say that's fine. That's a competitor, but it doesn't matter. So it's for somebody. Somebody is going to make great use of it and make great music with it. Yeah. I am not. So
you are not.
I'm not going to get one.
But I do think it's a good example of what we've been talking about, to try to frame that discussion into something. I think that if we, 6 months from now, a year from now, there's a lot of buzz where people are like really using it still and really talking about it, then we'll know that it had legs, and then it was worthy of the discussion. Yeah. But all the discussion right now is just marketing.
Yeah. And I think that a really good example of buzz after something has been released is kind of like what JHS has done with like the Bad Monkey. He just mentioned it. Yeah. And then I don't think that creates hype. Yeah. I think that creates buzz, which is just people talking. The buzz is just like the cacophony of voices. That's the buzz. It's bees in the hive. It's just people making noise about something.
And then the point of it is like, hey, this thing actually does sound good. Yeah. You should try it. It's cool.
Bad Monkey never sounded bad.
Yeah. It's just, well, we did a whole episode on that. It's our highest listened episode. You should go back and listen to it.
I think we need to start putting I never know where to point. There we go. We can put a link up in the corner.
The little boxes that
pops up on the corner.
On a Bad Monkey episode.
That's your new job.
Oh my gosh, I got to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, I can.
Matthew's been adding all the chapters to all the Mythos and Pedal Pusher videos.
Figuring out all the nuances of the YouTubes.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Timestamps.
Yeah. But like in the comments on this, I want people to talk about that. What came out? What that was hyped up, and then it had legs, and what wasn't hyped up at the beginning, and then eventually it did. Mm-hmm. And what do you think about the gear hype life cycle? Like, what do they think about it? People like it. They're like, no, just feed me. I want to get blasted with a hose.
Feed me, Seymour.
I want to get just blasted with a hose of information. Hose of tone. I want a tone hose, which was my nickname in college.
Damn.
Yes.
And nailed it.
I did. I've been waiting to drop that one. But I want to know what people think. Do they like it? Do you all want to just go hide in a cave and play a nylon acoustic and forget about all this shit?
Who doesn't want to get hosed every now and again?
But I really am interested in what people think about that. And how do you think that we should do gear rollouts differently so it doesn't feel like that there's too much hype on stuff? That's not good. I don't like that people get a negative connotation instantly. It's not great.
Yeah. So as we wrap it up, we didn't do our ad breaks like we were going to.
Oh yeah. Well, we talked about that.
We're gonna work on it.
We need to make money. Money, please. Money, please.
It's all work and effort, and it has,
No, we thought about we should put some ads on the show.
Yeah, I mean, and not like excessive, but when you listen to every other podcast, there's like ad breaks. It's pretty normal. Anyway, Matthew, what are you buying and what are you selling?
I mean, I got cleaned out, bro.
You did?
Yeah, I don't have anything left to sell.
You don't have anything?
No, I don't have anything I want to sell right now. I'm good.
Okay.
Is there something I'm supposed to sell?
I don't know.
What are we talking about?
I don't know. You can sell whatever you want.
No,
Or not sell whatever you
I'm
want.
not buying anything. I bought something. I'm waiting for it to arrive, and I will continue to tease it on this show.
Well,
Did you get something new? Oh, you got the Nobles.
I got the
And you
Nobles
talked
and
about
the
that.
Maxon
Yeah,
OD 808.
And you have something else that you're buying,
I do have something.
and
That's
it's okay.
well. So here's the thing.
It's okay. You can buy another guitar. It's fine. It's
We-
fine.
last episode was Gear Life Crisis. That was solely concerned with my personal collection of the things that I keep at home for me.
Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's not that long. We can touch on this. Cesar over at Gibson
Yes, he
has
did.
done a great job
Yes, he
at
did.
peeking and sneaking some guitars.
He's hyping, bro.
Man, he is. I think
Actually, that's good hype.
That's generating hype.
And it's good because
it's working on me.
It's subtle, and
Subtle.
it's in a way that I think really works. Yeah.
Yeah. So he teased the Kirk Hammett Flying V Epiphone.
Ooh, we knew it was coming. We
knew that the Greenie was coming, but I had no idea.
I thought we knew that one was coming too.
I had no idea that they were going to do a Flying V Kirk Hammett.
Oh.
So it's the Kill 'Em All like early
Yes.
Flying V.
79, right?
Yeah, and so they recently did that. It's like $15,000 in the custom shop.
Ciao.
And it's cool. It has a wacky little bridge on it, but Epiphone's doing it. It has a hard case. It has the same bridge. It's got Gibson
A
pickups.
couple of them
CTS
got sold
pots.
on Reverb already.
Yeah, they're doing it in black and in purple.
Yes.
And the purple is kind of like a pastel sort of.
Yeah,
purple. It looks good.
A lot of purple guitars.
Lavender.
in Kirk's repertoire lately.
Yes.
A lot of his ESPs come in purple, and so I like to see that spread out to the Gibsons.
Wouldn't it
too.
be cool if he had a Greenie copy that was purple? That was aged the same?
That'd be kind of cool, man.
That'd be hot.
Yeah, I like that. Purple guitars, man.
But anyway, so
you're gonna get one.
I'm getting one. I reached out to my buddy Matt over at the Gibson Garage and was like, "Hey man, when are these coming out?" And he said, "Soon, very soon. Would you like me to hold you one?" And I said,
"Ooh, doggy."
"Yes." And then when they leaked on Reverb, I got to see all the pictures. They have a hard case. It's
gonna
all
be great.
Gibson
All-
components inside there.
Yeah,
Real
yeah.
Grover tuners.
Gibson pickups.
Gibson pickups. It has the right headstock shape. Even has how I don't have any guitars in here with dots, but on those 70s Flying V's, the dots on the 12th fret were further apart. It even has that. It's like I'm pumped.
And I will give you a pass because it's the stunt guitar.
Stunt guitar.
And stunt guitars, thank you, Pops. You can buy as many stunt guitars as you want
Yeah, and it's
because they're for a very specific purpose.
and so yesterday I was having when I go on a road trip.
Oh.
And we'll end it with this. When I go on a road trip and I come back, it takes a long time for me to get back in the I have work to do mindset.
Yes.
And so I said, I'm just gonna like try to work on a video. And I busted out the Kirk Hammett, which is hanging out.
Busted out the ham.
And started making a track and was just jamming. And I was feeling it. And that opened the floodgates. So I want to have the Flying V to do basically like the Kirk Hammett guitar, not a shootout, but just like a roundup,
Yeah.
and just say like, I love these and this is why. But all of that unlocked creativity in my brain where I did a Argonaut while I made this, and the track on that is, I think it's my best playing and best groove
I thought it sounded terrific.
I've had yet on any playing demo. So
And that'll be out soon?
that'll be out before this is out.
Yes.
But yeah.
And speaking of stuff that'll be out, this episode probably come out the same day or the day, like we should have some positrons available.
Oh, Positron Colliders.
The
Yes.
Positron Collider.
So the Positron Collider is coming
Back
back
for Halloween.
Halloween.
Yeah.
This episode will probably come out on the 1st of November.
So hopefully there's none available.
I hope
That
not.
would be terrific, but there is. Then go
Check
check
it
out the website.
But yeah, the limited numbers, mainly limited because I couldn't get the knobs.
Yeah.
Which I over the years of doing the Collider, I changed the knobs and the aesthetic a little bit, but finding the right knobs that to me conveys the personality of the props from Ghostbusters and doesn't look out of place, because I think, I mean, we're knob snobs.
Big knob snob.
The aesthetic of something kind of lives and dies. The knob is the final it's the bow on the package.
Yes.
It's you know, it's the love that goes in the recipe that makes something, I think, feel complete.
Yeah.
And when you don't have that, it just doesn't feel right. And that
Agreed.
was something I would say to any budding pedal builder.
Wow.
Figure out your knob game
Get your knobs right, bro.
and buy every knob you can. Buy like 10 of all of them. So when you're testing out,
It's
designs,
amazing how much that changes the personality of guitars, amps. Knobs are incredibly important, and that's why we're knob snobs.
Yeah, I mean Matthew has bore witness to the you probably had never done this on a pedal. You've done it on guitars.
We've done it on guitars,
but you hadn't seen how the interplay of knobs changes the personality, even in just like a blank enclosure. Like, oh, that has the right mood, and like it's I don't know, motivation of tone.
It's a huge important.
Yep.
Huge important thing.
Huge important.
All
Leave
right.
us a comment, like and subscribe.
Please
We're gonna
do.
try to do some more merch. We're trying to decide how to do
Does
this.
people wants the merch?
If you want merch,
Do you want a shirt with my cartoon face on it?
Smirch.
You want smirch? Maybe not after this episode.
Maybe not.
It's a little rambly. I got a little rambly today.
It's fine.
I get very passionate about these things. More gear. Too much gear. I'll try to not be on reverb all day. I'm sorry, boss.
All right. Bye, everybody.